Dang, dang, dang. Okay, so maybe I should. You know what I need to do? I know what I need to do. Yes, that's better. That's better. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's better. That's much better. That's much better. What's good? Happy Saturday. Back for a quick little story time. Put my light on. Let me open that. So, like the last story time, I'm just going to hop right into it quickly, and then this can just be watched as a regular video. Wait a minute. I need one more thing. I'm not using my tripod. I'm not currently using my tripod or my ring light. I'm using my little light. Okay, so that's good. That's good. All right, so I'm just gonna get right into it, into this quick little story time. Again, like I just said, this one is gonna be like the last one, short and sweet, to the point, and it can be watched as just a regular recorded video. But I like doing these little story times live because I just like to deliver. I just like to deliver the message live with my raw emotion and share my story. So this one is still in the same line of being slow, being that slow underdog winner. And yeah, so as you see by the title, like it says, My Life as a Slow Artist. But here is the thing: show up as yourself, show up as your best self, and people will appreciate it. People will absolutely appreciate you for it. So, as stated before, I am slow by nature. I'm very deliberate in my movements and I move slowly. So, when I was behind the chair, both as a licensed cosmetologist and a makeup artist, my clients were the absolute best. This is also why, for me, besides the fact that I have more of an entrepreneur spirit than a worker, for me, it was important to build my own clientele because I need to be able to work at my pace because I do exceptional quality work. For me, the quality means more than anything. I care more about the quality than having a ton of clients in and out of my chair. So, taking on more high end clients as an independent makeup artist was very much so more important to me. And here's where I got a lot of my inspiration from. As a makeup artist, of course, I used to study a lot of makeup artists from the past and who their big clients were. So, Marilyn Monroe Her makeup artist, Whitey, Alan Snyder, he would take 3 hours to do her makeup. And she never rushed him. She never allowed anyone to rush her, okay? But here's the thing about it. A lot of the things that he did, people thought that it was natural. What I mean is, he created a shadow under her, on her lower lash line. He created a shadow. And many people just thought it was the shadow from her lashes, right? No, he created that. He created that with like a grayish blue eyeliner. He would smudge out and create that shadow so you would think it was the shadow from her eyelashes. That to me was amazing. It's the little details that matter. So, as I began to grow as a makeup artist and I'm taking on all sorts of clients, bridal clients, I even had a long time client. I worked with her for 3 or 4 years and she was a referral. She was a featured vocalist in the group The Sound of Blackness. She was the first person whose CD I was accredited on as a makeup artist. All three of her CDs, actually. And working with someone who is on stage, who's doing meet and greets after her show, after she's done a 3 hour set, right, in front of all the lights and doing changes. I would be backstage changing her look just ever so slightly, getting her ready to go out in the next outfit. It's just, this is a different level from doing bridal work or just doing someone's makeup for a birthday party. And although in those particular situations, we didn't always have time in the in between. But as I grew my clientele and my independent clientele, my clients cherished the fact that I took my time. They absolutely appreciated the fact that I took my time. But why? Because the quality was more than they could have ever imagined. And this is what spoke for me. My work spoke for me far beyond me needing to explain, I move slow. None of that. None of that. I always showed up as my absolute best. For one, two, three, four, and five, I love what I do. I love being my own artist. So it was easy. And I would dream about it. Just like now, I dream about what I'm going to do. So I would dream about the makeup that I would do on these ladies. I would dream about, if it was a photo shoot, I would dream about the creative direction of the shoot, how I'm going to style them, what they're going to wear. I would literally dream about all of it. It was my life. So, although it took time, photographers were not rushing me, the models were not rushing me. It was not a rush situation because they had seen my work. They had known the quality of my work. They knew why they were booking me. They knew why they hired me for this project. And so the fact that before I had even came out as a makeup artist, I put in the hours, the countless hours of practice, of work, of reps to become the expert makeup artist that I grew to be. As you see by the pictures on the thumbnail, baby, my work was exquisite. And not only are people willing to pay for exquisite work, they're willing to wait for it. They're willing to be patient during the process. And this is why it is vital, no matter what you do, always show up as your best self. And if what you do, if the art that you create, no matter how much time it takes, then that's how much time it takes. Don't allow anyone to pressure you or tell you that, oh, such and such does it in this amount of time. I can guarantee you their quality is probably not as exquisite as yours. There's no way you can be speedy at something and exquisitely flawless. It's just that's just not how it works. I heard an entrepreneur say, um, you should tell your clients you do things three ways: fast, fast, cheap. You do things two of three ways: fast, cheap, and fast, cheap, and thorough. Fast, cheap, and thorough. You can have two of the three, but I can't give you all three. So if you want it fast, it's not going to be thorough. It's not, I mean, if you want it done um, fast and cheap, it's not going to be thorough. It's not going to be good. If you want it done thorough and fast, it's not going to be cheap. You see what I mean? So they said you do things two of three ways, but you cannot have them all three. It cannot be excellent, it cannot be inexpensive, and it cannot be done fast. So pick your two of the three and you get what you pay for. So I do things exquisitely and thoroughly, which means they're not going to be cheap, but it's going to be excellent. It's going to be executed above your expectations. And when you show up like that each and every time, not sometimes, not half ass. I did a photo shoot, and the day before that photo shoot, at that photo shoot, the day after, I ended up being hospitalized for 3 days. At that photo shoot, I knew something wasn't right. Everybody knew something wasn't right because I'm engaged. I am engaged. At that photo shoot, I did the hair. I had a hairstylist with me. I did the makeup and the wardrobe styling, and I was out of it. The makeup was flawless still, which I was impressed because I was not feeling good. In between every wardrobe change, I was laying on the couch. I was not engaged in the photo shoot like I always am. The very next day, I ended up being hospitalized for 3 days. I had a urinary tract infection that had gotten to my blood and in my kidneys. And per what the doctors claim, had I gotten there any later, it could have gotten all the way in my kidneys and it could have been fatal. Hey, Quan, welcome. So, this was still me showing up as my best self because that was scheduled. That was a scheduled photo shoot. And without the makeup, essentially without you may be able to get past with the hair because you can do something, make it disheveled. But without the makeup, you're just doing glorified Facebook and Instagram photos. You know what I mean? And then you add on the creative direction, which is the style of the shoot, posing the models. These are things that I did because I wouldn't let them chicks just do Instagram poses. This is not Instagram. This is a professional photographer, and all of these shots, cost. We're not doing Instagram nothing. These are not glorified Facebook photos here that you can just, this ain't that. So no matter what, no matter what I was going through, I always showed up as my best self because I want you to take this from this story time. For me, my integrity is not for sale. And I made that decision as a teenager. And your integrity should never have a dollar amount. Your dignity should not have a dollar amount. So when it comes to me doing anything, whether it's my crochet work, which I don't sell my crochet work anymore, but when it comes to anything that I do, my integrity is on the line and I do not take that lightly. Anything I put my name on, I do not play with that because I do have a reputation to uphold. I don't care who's just meeting me. There's many of hundreds of people who assimilate my name with a certain level of quality. And I don't play with that. And although I am slow and it takes I take my time with doing things, the right people have always appreciated it. The right people have always been willing to pay for that because they knew the quality that they were going to get. Not only that, they knew the experience that they were going to get. When it came to my bridal clients or just ladies booking me for a birthday or whatever, I educated my clients. Anyone who's familiar with my channel, you should even know that already because when I cook, even me coming out with these blood type things, I am about education, educating myself and sharing what I know and what I learned. So I would educate my clients. And if it was a regular client, I need you to help me help you. So I'm talking to them about skincare. My brides, I would prep months beforehand. You need to make sure you're drinking this much water because baby, there is nothing worse than trying to do a flawless makeup application on dry baby desert dry sandpaper skin. Okay? Because when I get there, a part of my process, I'm going to do a light exfoliation of your skin, an exfoliation of your lips. Baby, you don't know how many sets of crusty lips on women that I've worked on and that's why I started doing that cuz first of all, this is just unacceptable for a woman. If you walking around with chapped, crusty, skin peeled lips, do better, okay? So I would prep them, I would educate them, and this is just a part of what I do. So they enjoyed the experience. My models, that's why, although once I took that makeup hat off, and then when I started doing their hair, once I took that hat off, and now I put on my creative director hat, although it was tough and crusty lips for real, although it was tough and I was putting my models in positions that their body was not accustomed to, this is what gets the shot. I'm sure everyone has seen those Vogue reels, just the reels or the shorts, where people just throw themselves in the weirdest position and then that snaps and then it's the Vogue. That's real. That's real. My models, I would get models requesting to work with me. And the middle picture on my thumbnail with the woman and the guy. That was me working with a model. She was short, but she had been watching me for a couple of years and she requested, I'm just going to say requested. She exclaimed through many a DMs on Facebook how badly she wanted to work with me and how much she would do her best. And she was a short model, right? She was short, 5'7", which is or she was between 5'5" and 5'7", which is short in the model world. So she wasn't getting a lot of photo shoots and everything. And the guy in that image, Kevin, who is gay, but you never tell, I ended up scouting him. I was at the Mall of America walking through the Prada store and he worked there. And I was like, oh, I need you. I need you. So I gave him my card. Yeah, I scouted him at the Mall of America at work. So I put together this shoot. I worked with one of my designers that I would pull from. She was a bridal designer, a young black woman. And so she made, Kevin had on a navy blue leather tie. You couldn't see it in the image, but she made a leather tie. It was the dopest thing ever. We did a few different takes, but the gown, she made that as well. And then I don't remember if she had those black lace gloves or if the photographer had them. I don't quite remember. But anyway, I pulled from her and then I don't remember the jewelry in that shoot, but with that same photographer and that same designer, I would also work with a black female jewelry designer. Um, who in the top image of the picture in the thumbnail, I pulled from that same designer and then the jewelry designer. But anyway, Going back to that middle photo on the thumbnail. So she, when we get in there, she was a total dud. She was a dud. And this is, again, going back to showing up as your best self always. She was such a dud. But this is proof to how you really only need to get a shot. She had no expression in her face. She had no variation of expression. And one of the things that I used to tell my models is you need to know what your face looks like at all times. You need to live in the mirror and practice different expressions. If you get on set and whether it's the photographer or the creative director wants you to evoke a certain mood, you need to be able to do that, and you need to know what your face looks like in these different expressions. So she was essentially lifeless. There was no life in her eyes. Her eyes was not catching the light. So a few years before that, I started doing this trick with my models who were lifeless and their eyes did not catch the light. I would have them close their eyes. I would count to three, and me and the photographer and I were we were in sync on this. So I would have the model close their eyes, and on three, I tell them to open their eyes. Shoot. So when they open their eyes, that's when you're going to get the life, right? The pupils are going to dilate and move around, and that in that split second, close your eyes, open them, shoot. And it was all just so quick because, baby, hello, are you awake? We're on set, and anyway, we did get a few shots out of it, but it is vital to one, work on your craft all day long, every day. There's no days off when it comes to working on your craft, whatever it is. Whatever it is, there are no days off. Show up as your best self on every level. So if you're on the beginner level, you should be the best beginner that whoever you're working with or around has ever seen. You should be the best beginner. And if you didn't see my other story time about the underdog winner, go back and watch that. That is my point, right? In my pattern drafting class, I wasn't the first one to get done, and I was slow as hell, but I passed that class with a 97%. I knew what I was doing. I knew how to make a pattern from scratch. I knew how to draft it. I knew what I was doing because I put forth my best effort every single time. And not only um, am I slow, I'm thorough with I can't be slow and then the work isn't even good. I'm slow, yes. And I just leaned into that. I leaned into being slow because that's just how I move, right? So I have a cousin who moves very fast. And baby, watching her in my 20s, it just used to get me dizzy. I'm not capping at all. Watching her move would just get me dizzy. But I'm also watching a mess being made. You know what I mean? And things being skipped and overlooked, and it just, so lean into your strengths. And as someone who is slow, being slow is my strength because I am so thorough and exquisite in what I do. Even taking it to today when I was building my cleaning clients, they've never seen seen any work done the way that I work. They all had house cleaners before me. And what I mean is immediate before me. Like they weren't going, oh, I haven't had a cleaner in 6 months. No, immediately. Immediately, I replaced their new housekeeper, and they had never seen anything done like what I was doing. And I'm being dead ass. And to me, it was basic for my quality and for my standards and my level, it was basic. And you're telling me that this has never been done before and you were actually paying somebody to clean your home and they never did this. So no matter what I do, I'm always going to show up as my best self. And no matter what I do, I am an artist. Whether I'm cleaning somebody's house, whether I'm crocheting, whether I'm doing somebody's makeup or hair, I am an artist. And this is what got repeated back to me from my clients. When I would be in the process of doing my clients' makeup, because of how I work and how I move, they all, I never had not one client or model or bride say during their session, wow, you truly are an artist. And some would be like, you're an artiste. But it's just how I work. That's just how I move, how I get down. So that's why I said my life as a slow artist. I am an artist no matter what I'm doing. Even when I'm cooking, I don't mind taking my time because I love the journey. I love the process. That is where everything gets learned and gained in the process. Once you reach the finish line, it's done. It's done. Now you go through the process of training again. The training is where you gain strength, you build mobility, you learn more, you get faster. The training. And then the thing is the execution of all you've been training. You know what I'm saying? It's the process where character is built. The process is where who you really are gets exposed. Do you half-ass the process? Do you take shortcuts unnecessarily? Do you make a mess without worrying about the mess you made? The process is what exposes who you really are, not the end result. The end result just highlights it. The end result of me getting a 97% in my pattern drafting class and passing all of my things in cosmetology school, that just showed, oh, okay, so all this time during all these months that we had to wait for her, she didn't finish. Okay, she doesn't sacrifice her integrity for quality. I mean, for she doesn't sacrifice her quality for the sake of keeping up with the masses. No, no. And I didn't care about I wish I had it. It was stolen in Hotel Honda, but in cosmetology school, again, I'm an artist. And we had a what is it called? Anyway, a project. We had a project where we built our color book. We built our color book, quality over speed every time. We put together our color book, and the instructors kept saying, make it as if you were showing this to a client, like you're in the salon already. Again, I never gave a damn about being called an overachiever, none of that nonsense. Okay, you say, make it worthy of me showing a client as if I'm in the salon. All right, that's what I did. But here's the thing also. We had to show that we knew the difference between cool and warm of all the tones. Cool red, cool blonde, warm blonde, cool black, warm black, all of these. I was the only one who did not have to ask the instructor on every, and we went through magazines. We picked them out through magazines. I was the only one who didn't have to ask the instructor on every single one. No one knew their stuff. No one. No one knew their stuff. And if some of those books looked like preschool projects. I'm just telling you what it is. Some of those books looked like preschool projects. And I put everything into mine. I even went and bought a nice thick photo album from Tarjay. Okay. And I loved it. I put thought into every aspect of it. I don't even have a picture of it anymore. But it was beautiful. It was stunning. And on the back cover, I put the picture, the famous model picture. It was a black and white image. It had Naomi Campbell. It had all the top models at the time, and they were all topless. I mean, nothing was showing, but it was that image. They were all topless and just all together. It was stunning. I created tabs, cool, and I did use that when I was in the salon because, like I said, I became a colorist. I love hair color. So I absolutely did use that when I was in the salon. I was proud of it. It was professional. It was very well put together. The images that I showed was perfect. It was perfect. But again, this is because I show up as my best self every time. And I also want to add this. I'm always a student. When I was a young teenager, I said, I want to be a great leader. So, in order to be a great leader, I have to be a great student of life, not in some indoctrinated classroom, but of life. Because I knew as a and that was from me being a reader and some of the things that I read, namely Nat Turner, when I read him, Thurgood Marshall. I wanted to be a great leader. So I knew the foundation of being a great leader is being a great student, knowing how to be led, knowing how to be coachable, knowing how to be trainable. So every environment, I am a student. I am going to die a student. I'm always a student, but I also know that I am a great leader. I am a great teacher. And this is just a part of everything that I do. So, me showing up as my best self, as the artist that I am, to do this bride, to do this photo shoot, to work with these models, to be in this runway show. I am going to every time give my 100%, and then I'm going to find more and give that as well. And that's just the honest truth. And when you do that in your life, no matter how much time it takes, people will appreciate you for it. Marilyn Monroe, I'm telling you, her makeup artist, Whitey, Alan Snyder, 3 hours. 3 hours he would do her makeup. And she did not allow anybody to rush him. She loved his work. She loved the way he made her look. She loved the way he made her feel. And this is what only a select few people will appreciate. Someone who takes their time with you, whether they're doing your hair, if they're not bullshitting around, right? If they're not just playing over your head and talking and on the phone. No, 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 no. If they are engaged in what they're doing and they're taking their time with you, that is a level of intention and giving you their absolute all. And she appreciated that. She loved the way he made her feel, that experience. So she didn't allow anybody to rush her, which meant rushing him. She had no problem with sitting there for 3 hours while he do her makeup each and every time. Each and every time. No. And again, that is to be appreciated. We live in this microwave society nowadays where we think we want everything fast, but then we want things fast and excellent. And we want things fast and excellent and on a discount. What are we saying? What are we saying here? So we no longer value quality. We no longer value excellence. We no longer value a high price. We really think billionaires are shopping like Timu? Is that what we think? All these false narratives of speed, speed, cheap, cheap, speed. It's all bullcrap. It's all nonsense. And we have people out here showing up half assed, not willing to go through the process and become experts in their lane. It's your lane. Dominate in that lane. You're the only one in that lane. I'm talking about in your lane. Dominate. Put in the reps to become an expert. Show up as your best self each and every time. And people will absolutely appreciate you for it, and they will pay for it, and they won't have any problem with your time frame. They will adjust and work with you. And this I know from experience in several different arenas and several different genres. So you just have to allow your work and your showmanship and your work ethic to speak for yourself. And work ethic comes through after hours. That's where people see your work ethic. No one cares that you're willing to do overtime and yada yada yada. But when you're off, are you working on getting better? When you clock out, are you practicing? When no one's around to cheer you on or give you accolades, are you studying? Are you working? Because if you're not, the house of straws is going to get blown away. You know what I mean? The house made out of hay is going to crumble. It's only when you take your time to lay brick by brick by brick and the mortar in between that whatever you build and create will stand and be appreciated. That's it. So that's my message. That's my story time for today. Show up as your best self each and every time, and the right people will appreciate you for it. The wrong ones, allow them to just fall away. And don't be willing to just do anything for $1. Some people move faster but don't care about the details. The details matter. Yeah, yeah. That's why I said you can only do things three ways. If you're doing it fast, it's not gonna be good. It's it's good. Who's You can do it fast and good, but not cheap. You can do it good and cheap, but it won't be fast. It's just like, and then just before I go, let me just add on to that. People have different levels of good, you know? Like I said, working with these multimillionaires, the level of clean that they accept, my mother would never accept that. And she was broke, but she would never allow her broke self to live in a house that they consider clean in these mansions. So good, I guess, it is subjective to who's saying it. Like beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, but there are some things that people are just outside of their realm on, and may just, like, I don't want to get into necessarily talking about paintings or different things like that, but good is undeniably good. Some people may not like the colors, or like with some of my work, some people may not like what I've done, what many people may consider good. That's just a taste level, right? That's a taste level. Uh, but the quality that was put in, even the quality of the products, you know what I mean? It can't be replicated by someone who's fast. Because if you're just looking at it and trying to replicate, you're missing out what I did before that. Because again, skincare is everything. So you can't you can't get a smooth foundation on bad skin. I spent the first 3 years of my career as a makeup artist focused solely on the skin. The skin. I spent the first 3 years of my career as a makeup artist perfecting the no makeup look with truly thin layers. Not what you see today, where they're caking on fucking makeup, trying to pass it off as natural. No, 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 no. I mean, truly perfecting the no makeup look with very, very little foundation, very little concealer, putting it strategically on the face and in certain places. Strategically, I spent 3 years perfecting that. And it's what I learned from Sam Fine mostly. Like his thing is the skin. That's his thing, right? So you can't duplicate 3 years of practice on just one single element. You can't just look at an image and say, I can do that. No, you can't. Because you're just seeing the surface. And you think you're going to do it faster than what I did, you're definitely not going to be able to do it better. You're definitely not going to be able to do it better. You know what I mean? And so that's why I just wanted to share three of my images in the thumbnail. But I don't worry about speed. I don't care anything about speed, because my experience of life has shown me that those who appreciate quality, they don't care about speed either. The people who appreciate true quality, they don't care about the speed, because when you get higher up in tax brackets, they do understand that speed and quality, they don't go together. And this is where you get beyond working by the hour, right? This is where, when you're in the tax brackets of people that pay for your expertise, you just charge a lump sum price. That's it. But it's that hourly, right? The hourly is the cheapest level on anything. But if you know what you know, and only people at other lower income and tax brackets feel like, oh, well, I'd rather pay by the hour. Yes, because it's going to be easier on their pockets paying by the hour, because they can cut it off. But if someone says, okay, um, my service is $1,500 and it only takes 20 minutes, the people at certain income brackets are going to feel like, what? I got ripped off. Whereas other people at this income bracket are going to feel like, wow. And it's not about the time, it's about the expertise. It's about the expertise. Because some things, time doesn't matter, right? If you're a plumber and you know how to fix a leaky drain or replace a toilet, and you can do it in half an hour, but the years it took you to know how to do that, to where it's not, your seals aren't going to leak, your toilet isn't going to come loose, shit isn't going to be all messed up afterwards. That was years of work you put in, years, to be able to do that, to be able to charge this. You're paying for the knowledge. So either way it goes, I say these things because I'm slow. Not everybody is slow. But like you just said, not everyone cares about the quality that they put in. Not everybody cares about the quality. And then you have different levels of what good is. And some things, like for example, when it comes to um, doing sew-ins and weave and stuff like that, one of my girlfriends from beauty school, who I was her hairstylist, I grew her hair from here to down her back to the top of her bra line. She can do, and now that she's been doing it for what, 12 years or whatever, she can do some weave, baby, flawlessly in an hour. But she's been doing it for an hour for the longest time, but she's gotten better, right? Her work, her quality of work has gotten better. She can do a whole head in an hour. But here's the thing also, she's not washing the hair. She's not doing any hair care. She's just doing the weave. She's not doing hair care of the natural hair that grows from the scalp. To me, that counts. You're just doing the braid down and putting the weave on it. You're not doing any hair care. So you would expect it to take a shorter amount of time. And you would expect it to not cost an astronomical amount because you're just braiding my hair down and putting weave done beautifully on top of it. Whereas when she would come to her appointments with me every 2 weeks, and when she was exclaiming about what I did for her, and she even bought my hair products, you're getting shampooed, you're getting conditioned, you're getting deep conditioned. I'm trimming your ends. All of these things I know how to do. And then if you see the way, because I don't use the comb in blow dryer. No, because again, I worked in a professional high end salon and a blow dry bar. So I dry even black women's hair with a round brush and a hot ass blow dryer, and it gets silky straight. I'm telling you, they've never seen anything like it in their life. And then I would just smooth down the follicle with a flat iron. I didn't use a comb attachment. And I wasn't just going into people's head. Just that's not how I did my thing. That's not how I do my thing. Because when I tell you their hair was just free flowing and I didn't use a bunch of stuff. So this costs a bit more. This costs a bit more and it takes more time. So, but the result, the result of that was so impeccable that my non-black clients didn't mind paying for it. Like a lot of the black women, they were just like, no, because who cares? Just put the weave over it, and I didn't do weave. So anyway, that's my story time. Thanks y'all for chit chatting with me on this Saturday. If you missed any part of the replay, make sure you watch it, and I'll see y'all in the comments. And watch the latest video that I posted yesterday, and watch yesterday's Friday Night Live so you can be caught up on what's going on in my creative nomad life. Peace, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. That was good.